Welcome to my lovely HP community and the 5D Collective. And to all of those who are new, our lovely community is for a bunch of people who love to come together and enjoy the inner growth mindset, mindfulness and mindset, personal development, self-help, spiritual and or mindful living and loving journey with your very own 5D Mystic Mentor, content creator, podcast host who cares to share with you a lot of stories alongside those lovely courses, the free main modules, and then we have the video content. If you subscribe to Spotify or Fanbase, that's what we're going to have, the practical exercises, and in the future spiritual workshops and or retreats which you want to sign up for, as well as for the masterclass while one-to-one mentorship. You email me with inquire. So we bring together, I do, human, spiritual, and spirituality elements to explore human evolution and consciousness, but we also do this nice and fun thing called, let me find it for you, give me one moment, the 5D Mystic and People Collective, who grow confident and empowered because we're living mindfully, spiritually, and share ventral vagal energy. So we're the people who make it happen to let anybody who wants to know, hey, it's fun to be an inner child adult. And on that note, we have a functional inner child adult channeled guidance message for those of you who are regular listeners. It's only going to be on Spotify and or our other audio podcast platforms, not on YouTube. Okay, so 5D Mystic Enlightenment Functional Adult here, and those relationships bring us new stories that heal trauma together and bring forth your and I and all of our humanity for the ones who want it. Because using the inner growth mindset, mindfulness, and mindset practices and skills have you anchored in ventral in your day-to-day life and relationships and living restorative embodiment, which is why you can dance your way through all of that which is unknown and uncertainties. But it is also why you want to remember that we find out from experts like Deb Dana and Stephen Porges. I shared this within our short, but I'm going to share it with you too. That positive emotions can have a dysregulating effect on people who are comfortable in protection and not connection. Remember the fancy man and lady in suit that I make fun of? Yeah, they are happy to be in their protective threat response. So they won't want to be around us. And so this is why it can involve anyone who doesn't heal from trauma, is dysregulated and living dysregulation. They use adaptive child patterns of behaviors like my facade friend and more. They also have maladaptive, unhealthy self-soothing mechanisms and thinking processes. So like the man, he says that lack of imagination for evil. So he likes the dark sides of neuroplasticity. There are people who only use their imagination that way. And so it's people who choose to stay in threat response and they do not own their sense of self. They don't own any of their self, their past self. And they stay in hypervigilance. So we don't ever get to meet their open-hearted spontaneity because they don't go to Patrick Tiahan to heal their childhood trauma. And they don't want to, okay? So they stay in modulated, dysregulated embodiment. And you'll notice that if they're going to be, again, not wanting you as you are positive, that's why they talk about toxic positivity, and they really get into the mood. So they don't want to live mindfully or spiritually. We don't make them. They're not wholeness. They don't have a whole self. They have a longing. Again, self-fulfilling prophecies. They have Diego from the Ice Age, the family, all those Cusco mannerisms. We, on the other hand, live with flow, we live with love, and we use good stress in life and relationships. So they won't want to necessarily be around you. What you get to do as part of the 5D collective of mystics who mindfully live in love and people is that you keep in mind what I just shared, as always, and that we are anchored in ventral and experiencing life by sharing ventral energy on purpose, because it's actively our good stress, eustress, it's our health. And so we don't need to make them do anything. We allow ourselves to handle people who are reactive like that. They're also unhealthy self-worth. They don't have good boundaries. So they're always going to be the facade people we make fun of because they're not decent enough. Perfect example. Other examples are unnecessary. We're going to have other episodes, but they're going to be reactive to your body's state of safety in the capacity of their own body wanting it, but they're just going to get pissy about it and not own any of that pissiness. And that's where you, again, appropriate functional inner child adult love language is what we do. And it's not let me disrespect you. No, with integrity and respect, we remove ourselves from the situation and or, handle these individuals to the best of our ability with the integrity. And that is why we are going to consistently have what is, it's not about decency. Ha ha ha. You self-regulate automatically, you enjoy yourself, you're in a room, nothing happens, and you get to leave. That's it, because you're not reactive, you see. So the people who understand how to be pacha and or want to be, they're all going to be here at IHP because we're having a good time. So healthy self-regulation, again, it's not a must. Some have it, others will get it because it's a personal choice to make, thanks to all the great experts such as Deb Dana, Stephen Porges, who are sharing with the entire global community that they can, if they want, access their body's state of safety, healthy self-regulation capacity. And they also tell them the benefits that come from living a life that is in a restorative embodiment. Okay, the fancy lady and man in suit, I will keep making fun of them. They tell you, she goes on to say, let me inform you with her big letters how dangerous it is to not have emotions. Ha ha ha, laughable, because you cannot physically. You're always bottom up. 1. 2, then she says it's not inherently healthy or enlightenment to be non-reactive, choosing those words on purpose without being informed in any way, shape, or form with the in-depth version of all the neuroscience, neurobiology. But guess what happens? Find it hard to believe the procedures of life. So please allow myself once again to reiterate. We have healthy self-regulation. I do. I didn't lose it. They don't have to have it. Allow yourselves to leave alone the people who don't want it, because really you're going to waste your breath, your time, because remember what we also learned from the smart experts. And this, Jesus taught me how to forgive. God taught me how to mind my own business. So did my mom. And I keep on knowing how to do all of this. And the part is that you won't ever get a person who is a coward to actively do anything different. My facade friend is who I use as the example, because cowards don't tend to their inner child. They don't tend to go and get their body regulated. This is what a coward is. Very bare minimum. Cusco doesn't present any danger. That's why masculines are unimpressive, and so are distorted feminines to an empowered feminine who's also an empowered masculine, which means a whole self human being right in front of you who hasn't changed her mind about anything, because can't break a 3-year-old who has gooey ooey-ooiness. I love to love, and my baby, she loves to laugh, and I love everything and everyone. And anytime I'm like, you know what, maybe I'll leave. That way I can go have fun in my own playground. And that's how it works, because I have a twin. And I was never all by myself. No, so as a child, I have a bazillion imagination. And it never got broken, because I got also mom who raised me with God, Jesus, and Holy Spirit. It was very straightforward. So the circle of compassion does not work and does not move the energy of life if one person is missing and the person is the other. This is where he says the person is you, Jack Cornfield, PhD. So people who don't want to have compassion for themselves and others and don't notice how they treat other human beings who are simply having a good time and are positive, really, again. I mean, that fancy lady recently, she did an episode on toxic positivity. I know inside her body, anytime she's meeting any of one of us with ventral energy, she's like, inside, not outside. I wish the best for her. I wish she would go and do something about that stuff. But again, not everybody wants to dance upon the uncertainties of life with owning their sense of self or love and actually being an integrated brain and anchored in ventral and actually having not only good stress but actual smarts. Because really, smarts is only going to happen if you got a bilaterally integrated brain, and that's because you have to have bilateral, vertical, all of it, and then you're going to know what it means to have an exuberant life. Thank you, Sadhguru. Living an exuberant life is only possible when you are able to dance upon the uncertainties of life. And that's what we get to do. Unknowns, uncertainties, and unwanteds, you welcome always. Why? Because they don't take your life away. You can't take my breath away. The only way you could do that is choking me. I don't get you. You're not going to choke. I'm not going to have you choking me. Excusez-moi. Let me pause myself so that we can organize. So, being yourself mindfully, spiritually, with the whole self, love, flow, and using good stress in life and relationships is awesome. And when you get to do this, you get to practice, if you want, the restorative embodiment. Okay, so again, it's an opportunity and it's not a must. And we are going to chit chat about some other stuff within the spiritual community. And I'm going to pause myself so that I can make that one our focus. In the meantime, thanks for stopping by. Like, share, and subscribe. It really helps the channel grow. And again, remember, leave alone those who don't want positivity, because they don't have to welcome true love. They don't have to welcome their true self. They don't have to be their self. They don't have to be the 5D mystic and or person who is able to actively use smart people's information and say, wow, I can have human love inside of me. I don't need to suffer life anymore. How awesome is that? How awesome. It's awesomeness. But they have to choose it. And if they don't, that's where they have those other people to follow. We'll be back with more. Have a good one.